Welcome back, everybody. This is Beard of Darkness Book Reviews, and I'm so excited. I think like the second or third day I had a channel, because I had been watching Usman's for a few months, and I think it was like the second or third day I said, look, in the future, we've got to do something. It's that time now. I'm so excited. How are you tonight, Usman?
I'm doing good, man. This is exciting. Thank you for having me. I've been looking forward to this, and I've been watching your channel basically since its inception as well. And yeah, I'm a fan as well, so it's cool. Cool to be on
I
here.
love I love it, man. And I'm always checking people's bookshelf, of course. And I always love looking at yours. You've got the Joe Abercrombie, you've got the Witcher there, you've got the John Gwynne, which is just like absolutely like one of my favorites. So I dig it. So I always kind of like to start here. Like, what was it that pushed you to say, man, I really enjoy what people I'm watching on Booktube are doing. But what was it for you that kind of drove you to start your own channel, man?
That was a tough hurdle because I've been watching Booktube for a few years. I think I started around the pandemic is when I got into Booktube, as did many. Got into Daniel Green's channel, and then discovered there's so many people in this community. Discovered Jimmy's Fantasy Network, Library of Alexandria, and honestly, if I'm being honest, the biggest inspiration for me to start my own channel was the Library of Alexandria. Alan, he just seemed like a super genuine dude. I don't know, it was something about him, his personality, maybe that just made me think, well, maybe I can do this as well. I mean, I like reading books. I love talking about books, and at that point, I was getting into reading so much and had nobody to talk books about with, and right, there's nobody in my friend group or anywhere that reads books. So I figured, let me join this community. We get these discussions out and do reviews and stuff. It had been something that I want to do for a long time. So
I really like that. And I think, Alan was one. He's not, I respect what he does. I actually really enjoy what he does, but I think it's a personality thing. Or the fact that I just don't have a lot of time to watch BookTube anymore. So there's like those few that I watch religiously. But Alan is like, he's very intelligent and he knows his stuff. And I think I need to be a little more versed, especially in history, because he's very versed in that, for me to fully enjoy his channel the way I feel like is proper to enjoy his channel. And the thing is, I'm not a huge history buff. So when I watch him, I'm a little lost, to be honest. Now, when he talks about books in this elegant way, man, that's very much enjoyable. So I'm going to brush up on my history, and I think I'm going to go back, And then Jimmy, dude, he has a way of like talking about a book in this, like, I don't know, this elegant way that I had no idea that you could really come across in like, and in the way he explains a book. I don't know. I can't do it that way. But every book that he recommends sounds romantic, I think, is the way that I'm thinking of it. But yeah, man, I'm digging that so much. And so have you always been a reader, or was that something that started a little later? Like I started later.
Yeah, no, same for me. I started pretty later than I would have liked. Well, here's the thing. I got into reading when I was about 11, 12 years old. I started with the Del Toro Quest series. I don't know if you've heard of that. It's like a children's fantasy series.
Del Toro?
Del Toro Quest, yeah, by Emily Rada. And I know Tim knows it. We bonded over that series. So
Tim McKay.
Yeah. So I got into that series when I was about 12, but things, my life got very hectic. I've been through a lot. I wasn't able to continue reading for a very long time. And it's something that I picked up basically in my late 20s is when I rediscovered that passion for reading, and just I've been reading with a vengeance now for like so many years, trying to get caught up and all this, so much interesting stuff out there. So it is something that started a lot later for me as well, like yourself. And that's part of why I like your channel and your personality a lot. When you first came out on BookTube and you started talking about your life and your reading passion, this thing that you're discovering, I don't know, something just resonated with me. That's why I really like your channel and appreciate you as a person.
Thanks, man. We talked about it a little bit before we come on, and I'll kind of go a little bit into it. If I think it was, and I just kind of had a little bout of it not too long ago, last week actually. You know, I find myself, because I have this thing called Crohn's disease, and then I get these infections in this port line that I have, and it's always like a week long that I'm sitting there, and I just would stare off and, you know, try to watch TV. But after like 8 or 10 hours, it's just like, man, this just doesn't seem constructive. I'm bored already. So I picked up a book, and man, I'm so glad I did, because it's really gotten me through a lot of hard times. Guys, if you hear a little bit of the baby, you guys already know my channel. Sometimes there's some babies in the background. I think she's a little upset. I don't know why, but yeah, man, it's like, I think the hardest thing was not being able to take those physical adventures. And as a young man, that's kind of what you want to do, whether it's hiking or hunting or going to the movies or whatever it is for you, or bowling, whatever. I didn't have the health to do so, and I still struggle with it. So, man, I appreciate you saying that, because, man, that's really deep-seated with me and foundational. So I really appreciate it. So as late 20s myself, 29. So it's like, it was like growing up in high school as well. Like, I never even read the books I was supposed to read, you know. So if you were to say, hey, man, when you're a little bit older, you're going to be obsessed, I would have just absolutely not believed you. So it's really cool.
Yeah.
So you have this channel. What has been the most fun? Like doing lives? Is it reviews? Is it being tagged and stuff? What is it for you that's been so much fun?
Honestly, what's been the most rewarding for me is just, well, building all these friendships. First of all, like so many new friendships, getting close with people, especially like through Discord and just chatting about books and stuff, and getting to know so many more cool people is awesome. But a really rewarding thing for me, and this is just part of this journey that I'm trying to go through, you know, life. But
Yeah.
it's getting, like, reading all the things that I wanted to read and being able to convey my thoughts coherently, you know, come up with what I like or what I dislike, instead of saying this is a good book, the end.
Yes.
You know? Yeah.
Bro, I relate with that so much. And so a good friend of a mutual friend of ours, Colin, you know, was on the other night, and he put it the best way for me. This was the absolute best description of what I think you're trying to say, that I can very much relate with. Articulating your thoughts.
Yeah.
And I've heard that before, but for some reason that hit the bullseye for me. Because when you first start recording videos, at least for me, it's uncomfortable. It's not natural, right? You have to hear your own voice, and you have to see your own face, and we're our biggest critics. So yeah, articulating your thoughts is not easy sometimes, and I think it's a learned. It's one of those learning curves that you kind of just have to keep doing to get better at.
Yeah, for sure.
What are you reading right now?
Actually, I just finished a reread of Renia.
Oh yes, Carl Forshaw.
Yes, a beautiful book, man. Like,
is it the sprayed edges one?
Yeah,
dude.
Sprayed edges, so gorgeous.
That's on my reading list, dude. He sent me that book like the first month I had a channel out, and I haven't read it yet, and I feel so bad. But kids, yeah, everything's starting to cool down, and I'm very excited. Isn't it about a girl that is like a scribe?
Yes, a scribe, and it's dark, man. It's a dark fantasy. It's a dark fantasy. There's a lot of dark stuff in there, but it's so cool because it like mashes up all these subgenres. It's like got such a strong mystery element. It's got some horror in there. and
Wow.
yeah, it's really cool.
I don't
So I
know
just
why. Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, no, I just finished that. This is my reread of that, but yeah,
That's
I was gonna
awesome.
have him on the channel for an interview soon, so I figured I might as well reread it.
Yeah, he's in Australia, right?
I
Or
believe
the
he's in
UK.
the UK. The UK.
That's right.
Somewhere in the UK. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's not a super hard scheduling issue. They're 5 hours ahead of us. It's like
Mhm.
it's funny, dude. I never thought of time zones before starting a channel. Did you?
No.
I had no idea.
No.
Now I usually know based on location how far ahead. But hey, I had meant to bring it up the last couple of lives because I think this is my favorite hardback that I own, and it's not even a special edition. But I'm gonna grab it real quick.
Yeah.
Oh, good. There it is. So, heard lots about this book, and then just had the means to get it. And dude, it's so beautiful, and I can't stop like looking at it and holding it. Dragon
Wow.
Mage by M.L. Spencer.
Hmm.
It's a big boy,
Wow.
but that's an awesome cover, right? I think so. But check this
Absolutely.
out.
Something about dragons. They make a cover so much better.
And
Wow.
then just the naked hardback.
Wow. Yeah, that's good. Wow.
I thought that was gorgeous, especially for just a regular, edition of a hardback.
Yeah. No, that's nice. Gorgeous.
Lots of props to ML Spencer for putting that type of like time and effort and finding the right people, right?
Absolutely. Yep. Yeah. So I just finished Renia. I'm actually about to start The Blackest Heart by Brian Lee
Oh,
Durfee. Part of
bro.
our buddy read, but yeah, The Forgetting Moon was pretty awesome. So I'm looking forward to this one.
I'm like a quarter of the way through that. I was reading that when my wife went into labor, so got put back on the bookshelf. But I was loving it. What would you compare that series to anything, or is it kind of stands on its own two legs?
Yeah, it's very much on its own. It's hard to compare it. It's very unique, and it's so dark.
I love that though.
Yeah, I
I
love
think
dark fantasy. Dark
tell me,
fantasy, grimdark. That's my jam.
you know that I know this, my man. I
Yeah,
already know. It's like
yeah,
when I first started watching the channel, I said, I think we have very similar tastes in books, and it's like, it's funny. Tell me if you've had a similar experience. Like, usually, it's the people who are just so kind, generous, considerate. We're all into that dark stuff for some reason. It's like that escape from those other. I don't know. Do you agree?
I agree. I agree. Absolutely. Yeah. No, there's a point to that, and you're right. That's and the thing is, so I'm pretty much a metalhead. I like metal music, and dude, metalheads are some of the nicest people. You know, you know what I mean? Like
Yes,
like for someone on the outside, you wouldn't think so, and you might judge someone based on their looks, but man, they're so nice. They're the
they
kindest
are.
people. Yeah.
I'm getting ready to go see. Not getting ready to, but in August, my buddy of like 15 years, I used to work with him. He's like, "Hey, man, I have to take you to go see Coheed and Cambria." And I think that would be amazing. They're not a super huge band. They're big, but they're not huge.
Hmm.
Very unique. They do like comic books alongside their albums, and very creative.
Hmm.
Another. Let me grab this one. This has been just outstanding.
Get my
This one.
write this down.
Howard Andrew Jones.
Hmm.
This is my first sword and sorcery.
Yep.
And I'm kicking myself for not diving in before now, man. This is just the epitome of fun for me. It's not slow. It's got a pretty good pace. It's not what you would say like super dark, but it's an adventure. And I keep turning the pages, and after a little while, I check, and I'm like 80 pages. And I feel like I just started. It's just so much fun. But book 1 and book 2's out. This is Howard Andrew Jones, Lord of a Shattered Land.
Okay.
This is book 2.
Yeah, I gotta check that out.
The City of Marble and Blood.
Marble and Blood. Nice. Okay. Okay.
And it writes for Bain Books, who is also the publisher now for Christopher Rocchio.
Wow.
So I think that they're doing wonderful stuff over at Bain Books, man. They are kicking butt, I think.
Yeah.
Are you reading anything else? Or you just finished Rennie? Anything else you're on the shelf that you're reading?
So I like to read like one book at a time. I'm not one of those guys that can read like 5, 6 things at a time. I tried. It's tough, but for me, one thing at a time. So after Renia, I just started The Blackest Heart. And then after that, actually I got a nonfiction I'm reading at the same time. So
what is it? I'm so excited. I love to hear about nonfiction.
Yeah. So this is actually an interesting one because this Dr. Gabor Mate, I've seen some of his work and documentaries and stuff. He's such a smart guy. And this is his book, The Myth of Normal.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That sounds very enticing.
Yeah. So on the bottom, it says trauma, illness, and healing in a toxic culture.
Gabor Mate?
Gabor Mate, yeah. But in his documentaries, like, he's such a smart guy, and he really dives into the inner workings of the mind and how it affects everything. So
wow,
very interesting. It's been eye-opening. I'm only a couple chapters in, but it's been eye-opening so far.
Our guy Bryce, man, look at the compliment.
Hey, nice. Thanks, Bryce.
Bryce is the man, dude. Look, he's the only guy brave enough on BookTube to make a short series about mispronouncing names, because I'm pretty sure I mispronounce every single one that I read. And I don't know that I would blast it to the population. He's a brave man, and he does so good at it too. And he's always got the best book mail too, man. Thank you for stopping in, Bryce. You're always a refreshing personality, and I'm very happy you're here. Let's see. So we've got Tim Wolf, my guy, wonderful indie author, who finally, man, I think he subscribed to my channel like the second day. And for being an author, it's like, I can't believe he hasn't been on the channel. He is about to come on very soon, so I'm pumped to talk to him finally.
Nice. Good.
And Charlie, I don't know if you've read his reviews, dude, for FanFi Act. He's got wonderful reviews. Thank you for being here, Charlie. Nope, you're too kind, my friend.
He is a kind guy, yeah.
Dude, he is. So, looking forward to your 2024 year, anything that you have that maybe you've kind of planted a seed, or something even that you want to do that you're really looking forward as far as you on the channel?
Yeah, so I did plant a seed, I guess, already. I made a video on my self-pub and indie reads for 2024, and like all the wonderful books that I've received from authors, you know, be it physical or digital, I wanted to kind of prioritize a lot of that. So definitely getting to a lot of self-pub and indie work, at least for the first half of the year. That's going to take up a lot of my time. I'm looking forward to it. Like all the stuff that I have seems very interesting. So I'm excited to get to that.
I think that's awesome too, because I've been in that situation where we're so privileged that we get to talk with authors and that they trust us with their babies, right? Their work.
Yeah.
And then naturally, I feel like, because I've talked to a lot of other booktubers that felt this way, where you have, you know, quite a few books that you've been sent. And if you're anything like me, you want to get to those as fast as possible, give your reviews. So I love that you said prioritizing those ones you've been sent, because that's very much relatable with me this year. I just know there's going to be so many books I read this year that are going to blow my mind, because that's what indie's done for me, or, you know, self-published authors, because naturally I came into BookTube with that terrible misconception that indie meant subpar. And wow, was I wrong.
Yeah. See, I wasn't even aware of when I like got into reading and started a channel. I wasn't even aware of independent publishing, self-publishing. Like for me, I was hearing about all the books that booktubers were talking about that were like traditionally published and this like all this work that I wanted to get to. And then you join booktube, you start talking with authors and discovering stuff, and that was like the tip of the iceberg. I joined this, you learn about self-publishing and indie publishing, and that's like a whole other bottom of the iceberg. There's so much more than you ever thought there could
Oh,
be.
there's an ocean, man.
Yeah.
And I think, I had heard the term indie or self-published, but did I know anything about what that meant? No, I did not. And then, of course, naturally, I found Ryan Cahill, and he was the first indie author I read. Which have you dipped into his work?
Not yet. On my list.
Bro,
Yeah.
I know you like your dark stuff, as do I.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that you've read and you've had a mixed experience with like the Wheel of Time.
Yes.
Now remind me, Game of Thrones, have you read?
Not yet. Seen the show, but not read the books yet.
So I would say just because I've read the first 4 books of Wheel of Time and I've read the first book in Song of Ice and Fire, which is Game of Thrones, he's one of those that I would actually compare to those 2 books. Not saying that other people who say that they're influenced by that isn't true also, but he takes characters and like throws them on this adventure, and it gives me this feeling like, oh, this is going to be excellent. And there's multiple races, kind of like a Lord of the Rings influence in there, but still unique to his prose. So it's very cool. So I highly recommend that if you can't tell. I think that you would absolutely dig it. I started with The Fall, which was the prequel novella, and excellent starting spot, or you can read it after first. My guy E.L. Montague says George R.R. Martin is brilliant. I hear this, and I guess I've gotten caught up in the funk that people are saying, about him not writing the finishing of his series. And I guess that would be a little upsetting, right? You get pretty deep in a series, and that's what you want. You want to finish it.
Yeah.
What other hobbies are you into?
Oh man. So I used to play drums. Well, yeah. I used to play drums in a metal band. I was drumming for a while. I think I started drumming at 18, and then I was self-taught, and then just got into metal, and man, it was a lot of fun. Drumming is so much fun, and it's a workout, man.
Did you know that you and I have that in common too?
Yes.
Okay.
I heard you were a drummer. Yes.
Dude, hey,
so cool.
I'm 6'5", but your boy can throw some double bass.
Nice.
Hey, that's the only thing that I'm like, hey, there's not many things I'm good at, but I'm like you. I was self-taught. It was funny. I bought my first set when I was like 16 or 17. And I just started playing. Isn't that fun? It's like you sit down, you just kind of know what to do.
Yeah. It's like a primal instinct. I don't know, something about it. Some people can just pick it up quick, and I've heard people say, "Oh, that's so difficult." But to me, like something like guitar would be difficult. It's so technical, right? But to some people, it's the other way around. It's weird.
I've seen. I did a lot of like covers in high school with some guys. We did a couple original stuff, original songs, mostly like Metallica, Guns N' Roses, just the kind of the 80s hair metal. That's what they were into, most of it. I'm not super into the hair metal. I do have some favorites of that time. I have to respect it. I mean, that's a part of the history of metal. But I would say Lamb of God, Chris Adler, the drummer for Lamb of God, is who is my biggest influence.
Nice.
Who's your biggest influence as a drummer?
Biggest influence. Well, for the longest time, my biggest influence has been Kai Hato from Winter Sun.
Ooh.
Yeah, he's a there. So I'm into a lot of European metal. So like a lot of Scandinavian stuff, Viking stuff, like
Dude,
Celtic stuff.
I think we were separated at birth, homie.
Yeah. No, so he's good. He's good, and he's a metal drummer, but he has education from jazz. So he used to be a jazz player, and then into metal. So he's so good, so good.
I don't know Winterfell, so
Winter Sun.
Winter Sun. My bad.
Yeah,
See, man, I'd have messed that up and just not even been listening to the right band. Winter Sun. Is it one
yeah,
word?
they're so good. One word, yeah.
SON or SUN?
SUN.
Okay.
You should check
I'm
them out.
excited.
You should check them out. Check out their Time One album. Dude, being a fantasy reader, like if you love fantasy, this is the kind of metal you'll love.
Oh, I'm pumped.
Yeah.
I'm so pumped.
Yeah.
My wife just got me some nice earbuds for my well, hell, I don't remember if for my birthday or Christmas, but either way, she got them for me. And I just listened to audiobooks most of the time at night. Tonight, I'm getting some Winter Sun in there. I'm pumped. So have you heard of the Who? Not the Who from like the 80s, but HU.
No, I haven't.
Oh, I'm so glad you haven't, because I could be the first one to tell you about them, dude.
Okay.
They are a Mongolian. I believe they're Mongolian. I'm like 90% sure. They have got like throat singers, and it's kind of like kind of, just that really chanty type metal.
Okay.
So it's and then HU, the Who.
The Who.
You have to check them out. They do like Metallica covers in their own like Mongolian instruments. Oh, dude, it's so sick.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah, that should be interesting.
I'm excited to hear what you think of them. I want to know. So when you check them out, Timothy Wolf said he saw Lamb of God last year with Megadeth. I have a story, Timothy. I've seen Megadeth, and they pretty much made my ears bleed, and like close. I could not hear for like 5 or 6 days. They were incredibly loud. Dave Mustaine up there just shreds. And I also when I saw Lamb of God, they were with Metallica. Definitely the coolest concert I've been to.
Yeah, was the two big names. Yeah.
I think the coolest part was the pyrotechnics. Like, I've been to lots of concerts, and most bands don't throw that amount of pyrotechnics. Metallica, though, as I would expect, balls to the wall with it, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, no. But drumming, I haven't drummed in a while. So recently, besides reading, I have the seasonal hobbies. Like during the summer, I ride motorcycle. During the winter, I snowboard.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Where are you at, Usman?
I'm in Vancouver, Canada, on the west coast here.
I thought that you were in the US. I had no idea that you were in Vancouver. So you've got the snow.
Yeah, we got the mountains. Yeah, very nice. Very nice here.
That's very cool, man. So Vancouver, in relation to the US, are you super north, west, east? I'm in Ohio, so like by Michigan, Lake Erie.
Okay. No, so we're on the west coast, just by the border, pretty much, like very close to Seattle, and
Northern California area.
Yeah. Very close to Seattle, Bellingham, that area.
There's lots of yes, I do, HC. It's good to see you. Beardy needs a map. Well, I thought it said Beardy needs a nap. So either way, though, like, yeah, either one. Yeah, I wish that I could figure this out. I'm going to throw the idea. Maybe you know. I would love to, because I like to talk with authors, as you know. And I think it would be so cool to have like an interactive map, right? To where there's going to be little, like, how do I explain it? Like, if it was a real physical map, I would have like pins in it with like maybe a piece of paper saying who lived there and who I got to speak with. But since it's in my mind a digital map, I have no idea where I would even start with something like that. But the idea is cool.
And that would be cool to see where everyone is, in relation to you. So very interesting.
Absolutely. So
Hmm.
UK and the US, I think those are the two most popular. But I've talked to people in Brazil. Thiago Abdallah lives in
Mm.
Brazil.
Yep, yep.
Anyway, it's really cool. And I think one day I'm gonna have to figure that out. I'm gonna have to call Microsoft, be like, hey, how do I do this? Oh, no way. HC. She says, Beardy, I'm not even joking. I just started a digital map where I'm coloring in all the countries. I've sent signed books. You'll have to let me know what you did. Because same thing, I just different idea.
Yeah. And I have her books, man. That's one of the series I've been so sad I haven't been able to get to yet, is The Fallen Light. Like, I'm prioritizing that one for sure. I'm gonna get to it absolutely very, very soon.
So don't feel bad. Like she knows how it is. We've
Hmm.
actually talked on the channel about this, but so my wife got me her first book, Curse of the Fallen, for my birthday last year, and HC was nice enough to get like some other really close booktubers and some authors to like um say some things, and she printed out a sheet. Anyway, it was very thoughtful. And I'm almost halfway through the first book, and dude, I'm loving it. And I can't wait to hear what you think. There's dark elements, but there's
Yeah.
also like the multiple races and the witty, funny characters and the cool magic, man, and like the what's the bioluminescence.
Hmm.
Very, very cool.
Yeah, very stoked for that one. Like, I've been anticipating it for so long, and it's right up there, like waiting. Like,
I'm so glad you just pointed to your shelf because there's a question that I didn't write down that I've been wanting to ask. So,
mhm.
Tad Williams, I can see you've got some extensive experience with his books. Where am I starting?
All right, Matt. I'm gonna have to disappoint you. I haven't read any Tad Williams yet.
Oh, what, dude? You've got the most badass collection behind
I
you.
got all these books by Tad Williams, and dude, he's one of my most anticipated authors. So I've been picking up. I've seen all this stuff everywhere. I've been picking it up, like having it ready to go, but I haven't gotten to anything
You
yet.
have no idea how much I respect what you just did, though. Most people would be like, oh, look back and look at one title. You gave me that honest answer, and I can relate with you, bro. I can totally dig that. I respect that answer.
I'm 100. I'm 100% real here.
Absolutely. I think the only one I know of is the Dragonbone chair, right? The
Hmm.
Dragonbone chair. Um,
Yeah, Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn. I'm thinking I might start there as well.
so
Hmm.
I've heard that it's too slow for some people. Me, I'm
Hmm.
cool with the slow burn. It usually
Yeah, me
means
too.
there's some good characters.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Awesome. So, if you could chat, if you could sit down and have a beer with any author and pick their brain, who would that be?
Wow. Oh, it's a tough one. Hmm. Hmm. Um, Probably Steven Erickson, one of them for sure.
Ooh.
I'm going through Malazan right now, and it's an interesting series. Like, a lot of questions that I would have for that author, and it's cool because
Ooh.
he's on Vancouver Island. He's really really close.
He is.
Yeah.
I would love to talk with him myself. I haven't started uh Malazan yet, and I know that you have. I wanted to start it last year when you did. Again, I just didn't have the time. And let's
Yeah.
like that's a series you have to have a little time to kind of digest. Now, and I'm
Yeah.
assuming this. So, um, how has the experience been so far with Malazan for you?
Oh man, it's been a slow experience, but slow for the good reasons. It's a slow read. They're slow reads. They're chunky and they're so dense. And his writing style is so unique and it's so poetic, and it demands those moments of like of contemplation and reflection and just taking a moment to think about, deeper themes and stuff.
Ooh.
So it's been really fun, really heart-wrenching and anxiety inducing at times, but it's
Worth it.
it's very good work. Very good.
I would say the only comparable dense prose, like I definitely know what you mean by saying that. And the only reason I know what you mean is Christopher Rocchio, The Empire of Silence, was like it was my second sci-fi. I wouldn't suggest anybody's second sci-fi being that. I just so happened to, dude, just fall in love with that series. But dense. You have to sit. It's one of those that you have to kind of explore after you're done reading for the day with it. And like, what's going on? What's really going on?
Yeah.
So I enjoy those kind of reads. So that makes me even more excited about Malazan. But just like Christopher Rocchio, I tried to start the second book, and I just wasn't in that frame of mind, knowing I'm going to more than likely love it. I knew to put it down because at the time I just didn't have the time to put into that thought process. And Fraternal Cloud, that's awesome. I hear that that's an amazing book. That's book 3, I believe. I am on Howling Dark.
Okay.
And I'm excited to press on. I am, but it's dense, like you said, Malazan is, and it takes that time. So do you have any?
For
yeah,
sure.
dude, it's really, really wonderful. I had no idea that I would enjoy sci-fi. I really didn't expect to ever pick up a sci-fi, and it turns out it's like competing with fantasy for my favorite genre.
Was that you? So was that your first sci-fi series, or?
So my very first one was Wistful Ascending by J.C.M. Burton.
Very nice.
Really enjoyed it. I did.
Yeah.
Much different book. So I would say that Christopher Rocchio's Empire of Silence was my first hard sci-fi space opera.
Gotcha. Okay.
Words that create this feeling of vastness and sprawling, it's amazing to me. I just never thought my mind could be blown with words on a piece of paper. It's really cool.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but high praise for Rocchio's work. Like, I'm so looking forward to that.
He's crazy intelligent. Like, sometimes you like meet those certain people, or in this case, read their book, and you're just like, how does this person do that? Because it takes one hell of a articulate mind to come up with some of these themes. And dude, he goes into language that he kind of like created for the book, how to sound it out, and just many, many aspects into which I would never put in a book. Just, it would be too much like, not work, but it wouldn't be fun for me. I don't know. I'm sure glad that he does it though, because I enjoy reading it.
Wow.
So Steven Erikson
for sure. Another one, I gotta include Joe Abercrombie. I need to pick his brain.
That's my answer. That is my answer for sure. Because I've already picked Christopher Rocchio's brain. I'm gonna get Joe, man. I have to. I'm gonna bug him until he comes on.
That would be absolutely amazing.
Dude. I think he would be it though. To sit down and have a beer with Joe Abercrombie and talk like, how do you write these characters, man? Like,
how do you do it?
Yeah, his characters are stupid good. It doesn't even make no sense. Like, it makes zero sense. So, in the future, who am I talking with? Who would be a few? And I like to even kind of preamble this with, it could be anybody. It could be a poet or a singer, or anybody that you respect or look up to or find intelligent or enjoyable to watch or talk with. Anybody. Who would you recommend? A couple people that I speak with.
Well, in terms of authors, Carl Forshaw. I would like to see that. I'd love to see that. He seems like a straight up guy, very nice guy. He's so kind, such a kind guy, and the work he's written is very good work, and it needs to it needs more attention. Some more people need to read it. It's very good work.
That's amazing to say too, because
Mhm.
I think as an author, to hear what you just said would mean the world. So I think that's very cool.
Yeah,
Who else?
absolutely. Um, dude, I will message Joe Abercrombie on your behalf. I will get on this train. We'll do it.
There it is. So yeah, if
Um,
I ever get him on the channel, I think we're just going to talk about like Logan Nine Fingers and Glockta, right? Because Glockta's just awesome.
Glockta, like where did that come from in
Yeah.
his mind? You know what I mean? How did he develop that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and based on dialogue, I can tell who's talking. There's before I knew that was kind of like a brag for an author. I was saying that like I can tell when Glockta's talking based on the dialogue that Joe writes, or Logan Nine Fingers, or Baez. Well, I love Baez, dude. He's just great. I really enjoy it.
Yeah.
What book are you on with Joe?
So I finished the first trilogy, and next for me would be the standalones. Not too sure where to start there. Maybe the heroes. Yeah.
I'm only on Before They Are Hanged. I'm only halfway done with that one.
Okay.
So I'm not very far.
Yeah. It's good, man. I think that's my favorite. I think it's so
Favorite
hard
book?
to tell. It seems like one big story, you know, all three of them. They're all phenomenal. But
Where I'm at, it's not even halfway, actually. I lied. It's like 25%, something like that. Where I'm at, they I believe it was Captain West, or Colonel West, I believe he just got ranked higher.
right, okay.
And he's like, let's ride the horses, and he does, and like Dogman and the other guys, I can't remember all their names at the moment. Kind of pick on them and like take the horses and knock them off, and like, hey, I'm not going to kill you. I want to fight with you. That's where I'm at.
Oh, strap in, man. Strap in. From there,
Right.
it's going to get really good. Really, really awesome.
Have you listened to the audiobooks?
So I did for a little while. The Blade itself, Stephen Pacey, very good.
Oh,
Very
the guy it's like a voice and vernacular from God. The guy is just unbelievable. I don't think anybody's his equal. There's other narrators who I really enjoy, but not even close to as much as I enjoy Stephen Pacey.
I was very impressed with his work. Yeah.
The guy that does Captured in Words, I don't remember his name, but
Right.
you know, I'm speaking about the booktuber.
Yep.
So he did an interview with Joe and Stephen Pacey at the same time. That would be awesome.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah. Definitely recommend that. Not huge on his channel, but he had some gold in there for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, Montague. Oh, 1 second. I thought I almost X'd you out. Sorry, bro. Try and get Henry. Now, Henry Cavill, remind me, is he the guy that plays The Witcher?
The Witcher, yep.
Come on, E.L. Montague. You think that I can speak to? I'll be speaking to like his publicist or something. Be like, who's Beard of Darkness? This jackpot.
Hey, he's big into fantasy and sci-fi stuff.
Yes.
Like, it was interesting. I didn't even know he was that much into it.
Now, tell me if I'm wrong, but is it the way you found that out? Was it that interview where he's speaking of like Brandon Sanderson and he just goes on this rant about a bunch of different fantasy authors?
No, I think I just saw it online somewhere, and then I discovered that he's really into Warhammer and some other stuff, Witcher for sure, and he's like a big gamer and read the books and stuff. So I think I just
So he does. So you should check it out then. I don't remember who the interview's with, but he just goes on this like 5-minute rant. Going into what he reads, and it was very cool because, well, you and I can relate with him a whole bunch, and everybody over here in the comments and everything too. And it's nice because, people look up to that guy. The Witcher is an excellent series. I think it's wonderful. It's pretty violent. It's got good dialogue, good character, and the monsters are cool too. So, as somebody who hasn't read the books, really enjoying it. So E.L. Montague, dude, if I ever get a hold of him, I'm giving you credit. Like, you're going to be in the credit for sure. Like, hey, look, I wasn't brave enough to reach out to you. I was encouraged.
That's a good suggestion. That would be awesome.
Ari Solstice, my guy, if you know anything about my channel, I have to respect a good beard. So that's always a wonderful thing.
I could grow mine a lot longer, but girlfriend doesn't like it too much.
So no, I dig that, man, because if it was, I like this. I wish it was like down here in gray, right? Like Gandalf. So I'll get there one day, but that would be my second choice, the way that you have it. So you rock it out, man. For sure. A lot of people can grow the beard, but it gets itchy, right? And you're just like, and you gotta take care of it, and that takes time. But hey, man, that's cool. Carl Forshaw, Joe Abercrombie. Did you see my post about who I'm chatting with on the second? Freaking, oh, my mind's evading. It's evading my mind. Raymond E. Feist, dude. He'd agreed to. So, if you don't know him, he is an absolute like.
Oh, I know Raymond E. Feist.
Okay,
hang on, Matt. You're chatting with Raymond E. Feist?
Yes. I can't believe he agreed to it on the second, bro.
Hang on, Matt. You're chatting with Raymond E. Feist,
bro. I know. I can't even believe it, because I feel like this guy's gonna drop so much wisdom on me that it's gonna just like make me pass out in the middle of the interview. That nerves.
Dude, did you set something up? I need to press notifications for that. Did you set that up already?
Yeah. So it's so I'll tell you, I interviewed Janie Wirtz, and of course she wrote a couple books with him. And I reached out to Janie after we spoke, and I said, in my mind, I'm just like, I know it's a long shot, but they're friends. And she must have said nice things, because he said yes, and I'm just very excited. I think more, I just feel honored, like, because, I started this channel because I want to learn, and somebody who's been doing it as long as him, he's going to have a lot of wisdom to drop.
Matt, Rift War was my formative series.
Are you serious?
Yes. Magician Apprentice, Magician Master, the whole Rift War saga. That's what I started with. Like, my I got a big brother, like, mentor, like big brother kind of figure, and he introduced me to those books when I started reading. That's my formative series, man. I love those books. Raymond
I did not know that.
Yeah. Yes.
Dude, that's so
awesome.
cool.
I can't believe you're getting. That's amazing.
So I'm really pumped for that.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And I think I'm more thankful for it than anything, like, because I feel like I had this thought in my head that authors wouldn't want to just be nice or talk, when I have found out that that's all they really want to do is be nice. And in my head, they're superheroes, right? And those people in my mind, or anybody's mind, when you really look up to somebody, they're untouchable. They're hard to get to. They'd never want to talk to me. I've found them to be the exact opposite, man. And you speak of Carl Forshaw this way, and it just is the epitome of this community. So I'm glad to say that every single interview, because, man, so many wonderful people.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I'm surprised too, talking with authors, how kind they are. You'd think they'd be a little apprehensive or like just busy or something, but they take the time. It's
They do.
impressive. Yeah.
I love that too, man. I'm so glad you said that because it's something that isn't in most communities, right?
Hmm.
It's not something that everybody gets to enjoy. So, man, I love hearing that you have that same view of
Hmm.
what we're doing here.
Yeah.
Have you read any Brandon Sanderson?
I have. So I've read the first Mistborn series, Mistborn Era 1. And I read a bunch of his short stories. He's got this collection called Arcanum Unbounded. It's a bunch of short stories and novellas. That's what I enjoyed more than anything. His short stories and novellas are, I think, in my opinion, some of his best work. Yeah.
Canum Unbounded. I have heard of that. Um,
Hmm.
I was talking to a buddy last night, Charles Hack. He's an author of Into the Darkness and Deceit Above All Things, which was just released. And he was speaking about him and his family reading Brandon Sanderson kind of like out loud and making it fun for the family. And very much in the wheelhouse of what I would love to do with my kids. They're still too young at the moment.
Hmm.
But hearing him talk about Brandon Sanderson's Alcatraz, um,
Oh yeah.
it's a YA kind of,
Hmm.
but I think that's going to be one I read with my kids because of how he spoke about it. Where should I start with Brandon Sanderson, in your opinion?
Um, you could probably start with his any of his short stories. Like The Emperor's Soul is like one of his greatest pieces of work that he's written. It's so weird how I talk about books and stories like they're musical pieces or something. But
They are.
yeah, yeah, they're pieces of work, and no, that's good. Mistborn was all right, but Elantris, I read Elantris, so I've read all his older stuff. It was all right, but
What about Warbreaker?
no, that's on the list. That's coming up soon. I got that ready to go. I've heard very good things, very very good things about that, and of course Stormlight. So these are things I want to get to. But you should start with the short stories, man, if you can.
I
Yeah.
think that's the probably because I've asked this question. I've saved Brandon Sanderson's work for a time where I have a little more of time to
Mhm.
dive in, and I've often heard as an answer to that question with other people, um, start with the first of Storm Archive. I have it, King
The Way of
um,
Kings.
Way of Kings.
Yeah.
So that's what I bought. That's my plan. That was my plan.
Mm.
Uh, where to start, but I think I would much rather start with short stories because I've gravitated towards that lately. So appreciate that. That sounds so much fun.
Hmm.
Man, I'm so glad we finally got to do this, dude. This was an absolute bomber of a chat. It was so good.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to thank you, Usman, man, for letting me borrow you for a little bit.
Absolutely, and thank you for having me. It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure, and I'm very glad we got to chat.
Absolutely, man. I'll tell you, if I ever come up to Vancouver, I'm gonna call you and we're gonna get dinner or breakfast, lunch, all three, baby.
Yeah,
That would be
absolutely.
totally cool. But again, man, thank you for letting me borrow you guys. You guys that were in the chat, you're always just so wonderful. So thank you for being there and your wonderful comments. I'm gonna have Usman back on the channel this year as long as he wants to, because I've got some cool ideas brewing. I'll
Oh yeah.
talk to you soon about them.
All right.
And then you guys that will watch in the future, thank you so much. So I will be talking with, who am I going to be talking with tomorrow? Gosh, I'm so bad at this. I do this
Talking
every
with
single.
Feist, man. That's all I can think about right now. You're talking with Raymond E. Feist. My goodness, I can't believe it.
I looked up his age and he's like 70, 73, 70. He's in his
Wow.
70s. I know that's for sure. So I have to trim the questions that I'm going to ask him because naturally there's an endless amount that I
Yeah.
could ask him.
Hmm.
So I have to shave a few off. And honestly, I'd like to to maybe get a couple of questions that you, as him and being a formative author for you, would like to ask him. And I would love to. So again, I've got some cool ideas I'll hit you up about. I will put my next interview on Twitter, guys. Yeah, the time and who I'm speaking with, because my mind is just not what it used to be. So thank you, guys. We will see you next time. Usman, you have a wonderful night, man.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
See you guys.
See you guys.